What's up, guys? Nick Dark here. This is going to be another video for our market lesson series. And in this one, we're going to be going over how to identify trends. And there's a few ways to identify trends to kind of figure out where the market's going. And we're going to just break them down and jump right into it. So we're here on EU. This is a monthly chart, but the process for finding trends, it works on all time frames. Okay, so what is a monthly trend? There's micro trends throughout. So again, this concept works on all time frames with identifying trends. So let's start off with the first and probably easiest way to identify a trend is simply through price action, higher highs and higher lows. So we're going to go through and label a couple here just so that we can clearly see what we're looking at. All right, so let's drop this down to 16. That's good. All right, so we got a higher high here, higher high here, higher high here, and here. And then we're going to go ahead and mark the higher lows. Okay, so this is one way to determine a trend, is if price action is forming higher highs and higher lows. That is an uptrend. That's a bullish trend. Price action is moving up. So let's continue to label this. Right, this is a section of higher lows here. This is merely just another test of a low. So we're not going to label that one. However, this is one. And there are micro ones in here as well and all the way up. Okay, so the opposite is true for a bearish trend. We'll get lower lows and lower highs. So this right here, lower high, we're going to make this red because the bears are red. Okay, lower high, lower high, lower high. Let's put the lower lows in. Okay, so this is one way to do it. Right, this is just a test of a low, and then our final lower low over here. Okay, so notice the difference. Uptrends have higher highs and higher lows. Downtrends have lower highs and lower lows. So that's one way to determine it. Very, very simple as far as just following price action. But another way is through moving averages. So let's go ahead and get rid of these. Moving averages is another. So let's go ahead and play this back a little bit. Okay, so see how the MAs are pointing up. So after a cross is usually one of the first signs of the start of a trend, or a start of a change of trend. So it went from bearish trend here, right? Lower high, lower low. We break a lower high, got an MA cross. So that is usually the start of the beginning of a trend. It's an MA cross, and then notice how they're pointed up. So actually, a lot of people don't notice this. Well, a lot of people use MAs just for the crosses, for entries, or just as support or resistance. But there's another way to use them. Look at the direction that the MAs are pointing. They're pointing up. They're pointing up. So that's very bullish, right? Same with over here. Very, very steep. They honestly didn't even flatline until this pullback. So only here. They were literally pointed straight up throughout this entire trend here. Okay, so then again, let's just do a quick labeling of it's a new higher high. So now you can use these two together, right? Labeling as well as the MAs. So higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. Okay, so now let's get these higher lows in here. Right here, again up here, and so on. So very bullish, right? Higher highs, higher lows. But also, so this is a bearish trend here. So lower high. I just want to go over this part for a second. Okay, lower high there. Lower high here. Oops. Lower low right here. Okay. So also to find the start of a new trend. So like here, it was a bearish trend, full swing, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, full swing bearish trend. Is that, oh, there's another lower high right here. You always want to look for, so from a bearish to bullish trend, this change is spotted once this lower high is broken. Or potentially spotted once this lower high is broken. Because that's the first step of a change of trend, is you need to see a lower high break, and then the formation of a higher low to follow. So that's exactly what happens here. Here's our last lower high. Here's our zone. Boom, price action breaks through it. gives us our first higher high, then a higher low, and now we're off into a bullish trend. Okay, so the opposite is true for a bullish to bearish transition. We're looking for a break. We're looking for a break and retest like we just saw. So let's play this forward actually. This would, oops. So in a bullish trend, you're looking for a break of a higher low, and then a first lower low and a lower high below that zone. Let me just play this forward. Honestly, let me get rid of this entirely. Really? Doesn't want to let me cancel this. All right, let's keep playing it forward then. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so this is, we're going to go over one more change of trend here. So this is another higher low. Then we get our first lower high, which is what we want to see if we're looking for a change of trend. So that's good. Okay. So again, these are all just prior lows. These aren't new higher lows. These are all just matching this first higher low. Okay. So this zone then becomes significant. There's also a pattern in here, but this is still bullish until that higher low is broken, which happens right here. Right here. Okay. And then look, you get the retest all the way over here. So something like this. All right. Let's bring this up a little bit. So then we have our first lower low right here. Boom. Now we know we're in a change of trend. Okay, we are now bearish now. Okay. Oops, wrong one. And then here's our first lower high. Right there. Okay, so that's the change of trend. So, and then also look, the MAs are now pointed down, right? Hinting at this break, confirming the change of trend once it broke. MAs are pointing down, retest, and then lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so that's two ways to tell. Another, you want to use volume. So let's go ahead and load this indicator. Why is this doing this? Whoops. If this would load, that'd be sweet. All right, guys, we're back. Yeah, I just had to refresh the chart. Yeah, it was being a little weird. It wouldn't load my indicators. Now it's working, as you can see. But anyway, guys, the third way to identify trends, right? So very simple. You just want to look for volume, right? Is there more bearish volume or bullish volume? Okay, so if we zoom out a little bit, we saw a ton of volume stepping in over here, right? A lot of bearish volume entering the market. Good amount of volume over here, right? You can see a lot more bear stepping in here, especially on the break. Tons of bearish volume stepping in. Very little bullish candles, a little bit here, but definitely more bearish, especially here as well. This was news related, but still, guys, overall, that's one way to tell. Is just look at volume, more red or blue. That's generally, what you're going to see, especially on a break. A major move like this, you could see all these bars are very large bearish volume candles. I'm just going to call these candles because they look like them, whatever. So these volume candles, right? Very, very bearish. That's another way to tell, all right? So use these all together. Very powerful. Label, once you get used to it, you won't have to label as much anymore, but you'll be able to see lower highs, lower lows, higher highs, higher lows, much, much easier. So yeah, use these three MAs. Good way to tell what the trend is, okay? And also a good way to catch a change of trend potentially. So we got one more way, and that is simply trend lines. Right now, don't live and die by trend lines as resistance or support levels, but they are good for kind of showing you the overall trend. So here, we're going to label this one to start from bearish wick to bearish wick, starting at this one to this one. Excuse me, and obviously this is pointing down. The price action is respecting this and showing us that it is majorly bearish. Okay, so it's another good way to do it. You could even put it in a channel like so. This would actually be a little bit tighter, something like that. And there we go. Nice bearish channel, clearly defined trend, especially with all these tools, okay? And then the opposite is true for bullish, right? We're going to go from bullish wick to bullish wick, something like this. And let's just copy it. It's got the supporting trend line. You do something like that. So there you go. There you have it. Nice bullish trend, huge bullish channel. So easily showcase that it's, a bullish trend, okay? So, and then here's our transition. Started a new channel, new trend, and then we're off. All right, so guys, try this on your own chart, on your own charts, right? Use all 4 of these, use them separately, add them together, get used to it, and yeah, start identifying trends easier. All right, guys, so that's another video on how to spot trends, how to trade them, and you know, what tools you can use to identify them. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy trading.